Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a low elo gamecast. I am Sylphin. In this series, we take a look at what low elo games are like and see what they can do better. Again, we are using unofficial third-party ranking systems, so please take that into account when we take a look at what these people are doing. Hopefully, everybody learns a thing or two. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back right into the game here as we thank the 7th Gateway here on Countess for submitting the replay. We have Rod Arms on Wukong, the 7th Gateway on Countess, Mr. Justified on Chimera, and J-Dog Bounty Hunter on Serath, Girth Vader on Decker. On the orange team, we have Fiji Boy on Crunch, Sin Rez on Wukong, Duster 47 on Richter, Mad Max Canadian on Kwong, and unfortunately a glitch as we have a Gideon here who's fab with no mana and no health. Nice. Wonderful. So if we can take a look at the team compositions here for the orange team, we have a Kwong in the off lane, very nice and meta, should be a very strong choice indeed. Gideon in the mid lane, nice strong team fight caster. Crunch in the jungle with some good crowd control and frontline presence. Wukong and Richter in the safe lane. So the Wukong in the safe lane is definitely strange, but definitely can work. And the Richter. So we have 4 melee heroes on the orange team, and the Gideon as the as the caster. Look at this. Wow, what a wonderful replay. Yeah, there we go. That's all better. So that is very melee heavy orange team here, with the blue team not looking any different. We do have Serath and Decker in their safe lane, with Countess in the mid lane. So have a melee caster instead of a range caster, Chimera in the jungle, and a melee offlaner. So lots of melee in this game, and that is something that you can take into consideration in your team comps. So for both teams, the the Decker support I do very much like. But if this Richter was the Decker, it would have gone really well with Kwong and the Gideon pick, as the Richter not necessarily overly 100% needed with a Crunch and Kwong here. I do actually like the Crunch. The Crunch and Kwong can provide that CC for the Gideon to do his magic, and then the Wukong can just go nuts. So really, besides not being terribly meta picks, it's not too bad here in the team composition department. Chimera obviously being very much meta here. Looks like he's got a starter deck, which is a-okay. You just have to really burn that that Q a ton and use those mana and health potions in order to kind of stay alive here. We have Fiji Boy here starting off with the Guardian's Award. Definitely, obviously not the default deck with auto equipped on, but Guardian's Ward should work okay. We have Silver Spear coming out for Wukong that actually might be smarter than you think, simply because it does provide CP and health regen right off the bat. So that is a very interesting choice there, even if a cast token, healer token would have been better. Again, we're not sure if these players can afford it on their accounts, so that is something you need to consider there. Looks like a little bit of a gank here from Mr. Justified, but they didn't end up using the chance there to go for Sinrez. So if you are coming in supporting your offlaner like Mr. Justified is, he has all the mana needed in order to try to go for it. So this definitely could have been an attempt there. For sure, especially since you don't want to waste that time not in the jungle, not getting the offlane camps here that look very much nice and juicy. So that is consideration here from Mr. Justified, as if you're going to take the time to rotate, make sure to try to attempt to get that kill here. 4 minutes and 15 seconds without the jungle buffs. That is something that you just have to learn in time. What is that rotation to the river buffs at the every odd minute mark? It is something you just have to learn, and you do have to focus on. Fiji Boy coming in for the gank, but the Gideon's not necessarily helping here, with Fiji Boy getting surprised with that purple buffed Countess. So the Gideon there just maybe sleeping a bit at the wheel here, as that could have been something there on the Countess, although a 2v2 maybe trying to just play it safe here and you know, sit back and farm. Mad Max Canadian, let's just assume that's what that is, push this up straight up here. Mr. Justified not going again for the kill. He needs to chase that down. So perfect opportunity for a gank, but just simply not using that ambush or that Q. As a jungler, that is really what you gotta go for. Rotating to the river buffs here a little bit here, 5-minute mark, but he didn't get it. So with a purple buff there, that is absolutely terrifying for a jungler. Oh, purple buff on any jungler is absolutely terrifying. He does grab the blue buff, and that does leave the Countess here for the purple. So great timing here for the Countess with level 5. She does have her ultimate, so as soon as you have your ultimate, you have to be considering moving to the side lanes and trying to get a gank here. Maybe that is what they're going to do. Very, very close, and Mr. Justified does indeed get it. Does Fab get the revenge kill very, very soon? But does he have the Q? He needs to use the Q, but he doesn't. So, now thinking there of that long-range poke that he has from the Cosmic Rift to confirm that kill. So unfortunately, he doesn't do there. Mad Max Canadian here doing a great job with the health potion and healer token right off the bat. It is a very good thing to craft as soon as he can. Here, Fab, maybe not realizing he is going to automatically lose that trade, but luckily for him, the Countess has no mana. So one thing I'm noticing a lot here in all of these lanes is the constant leftmost line, the constant basic attacking, really focusing on those basic attacks, only attacking when absolutely necessary to secure that last hit is very, very important. You know, obviously Mad Max here wants to push back his lane as much as possible, and just trying to maybe save this tower for a bit, but he actually also maybe needs to consider that he's on Raptor's side, so letting the enemy duo take this tower and just freezing his lane might be a even a better combination here. So Rod Arms is the one that needs to be pushing this lane back as much as possible to prevent the enemy duo here, the orange duo, from rotating lanes, and that's what he's doing. But that's very high. That's a very high level. I do want to just mention that though here, regardless. Wonderful replay bug as well here, as Rod Arms is moving around all MC Hammer style. So we're starting off with what is that here for Fab, as we have Marrow Fangs, Lifesteal basic pen while bleeding on basic attack, Steel 24 basic armor. Very, very interesting. Absolutely not meta whatsoever here, but while they're basically a useless card until the card system changes. Definitely not something that you need of this as a ward here to ward the river buffs. Absolutely would be incredibly important as a mid laner. You need vision and control over that river buffs to try to get that control and trying to get that sustain and that possibility to rotate and secure kills and secure an advantage. So for Fab here, health and mana potion not too bad, but a healer token going a long ways as well. Fab using the emergency ultimate, actually securing the kill there on Countess. Well done. I'm not sure if she had no mana, and that's what the play was there. But well done here on Fab's part to use that emergency ultimate and secure the kill there for that Countess. So it did end up working quite well. So yes, a ward here in the mid lane is absolutely the card you want as soon as possible, as not only does that save your butt, but it absolutely helps the rest of your team secure that mid lane presence and river buffs, like I would say here. not too surprising here that Sinrez and Dust are having a bit of an issue fighting off Rod Arms here as a Wukong, who does have his ultimate here on in the off lane. Two melee duos here is going to find that pretty hard. The Crunch does a good job here with the ultimate, or with the gank here coming in with Black Buff. To take out the Decker and the Seraph, choosing to duke it out there with a Crunch with Black Buff. But Mr. Justified does do a reciprocal gank here on their team's off lane and secures at least the Richter kill instead of the Wukong. They maybe should have decided here to go for the tower, as their safe lane tower is going to go down as well. Mr. Justified needs to continue to go in with the Countess, as that would have been a secured kill. And again, coordinated team pressure does secure quite a bit. So there was an opportunity for sure on a kill for Fab. Just got to make sure that you both teammates can dive a tower, one, and then forcing one of them to tank it, and that enables the other to finish the kill there. So always try to do things as a team, as that was definitely a missed opportunity there. So that was a unfortunate misplay here from the blue team. They could have maybe gotten this tower at least a much more damage than they did here with that kill on the Richter. The three of them over there, so they could have answered in kind to the orange team, taking down their safe lane tier 1. So if you do see that, stay aware of your mini map and see where the enemy team is, and if they're all accounted for and elsewhere on the map, that is the A-OK for you to make the play happen. So Fiji Boy here with the failed gank here on Girth Vader, as J-Dog Bounty Hunter coming in to almost finish Fiji O with a fantastic Q there to finish off the Crunch. And now Bounty Hunter's going deep for the Kwong, and he probably will get it there with a Q. Does he? No, Girth Vader, unfortunately, with the Decker. No, very, very close with the Decker Stasis Bomb, but nope. The long bomb Kobe does not land. So Mr. Justified with the perfectly timed ambush here, defending the mid lane tower against that pressure. Should have Fab here in the corner against the rings, but he's body blocked by the minions, and the Gideon does get out. So well done by the Gideon Spark for Duke in there, as the Countess is maybe thinking of doing her thing, but no, she is not. 3 healer tokens straight into a Sorcerer's Ward. Very, very interesting. Obviously that sustain is monstrous, but Countess does have that natural sustain that really only warrants 1, maybe 2 healer tokens soon thereafter immediately into a ward. So the Sorcerer's Ward, not one I would say in the early game for sure, as you just need power and or health here in the early game. The blue team with the mid lane push, or the orange team with the mid lane push, seeing that the blue team was elsewhere on the map, choosing that time to group up here and take down a tower. Well played, smart job by them here to see that the blue team was nowhere in sight. Now that it is a 2v3, or 3v2, they need to be careful under tower here, as the Countess almost deletes the Gideon instantly here, as she's still going for it. She just needs one more basic attack. There it is, the Kwong ultimate to slow her down and burst her, and there comes the Decker to try to help. I think it's a little bit too late though, as she is not going to be able to have too much of an influence at this point. Can she get the long bomb Kobe? Oh boy, nice rocket boots though to get up on the ledge. There's a long bomb. No, and it is dodged, so she has to be very careful here, as the Crunch playing very, very, very carefully with death there, as once again a lovely replay bug for this Kwong, going nuts Dragon Ball Z style. So the blue team did overstay their welcome, is very, very common, even in, heck, my ELO, that's not even much higher. So really, has to be careful. By the way, this is about 1250 ELO on average. I do believe 1230, something like that. It will be in the video description what sort of ELO this is. Here's Duster with a nice hook, but of course there's no follow through as the friendly Kwong is split pushing. So Duster here needs to maybe consider sticking with his carry, as the carry is going to be the one to deal much more damage than he will. Speaking of Duster here, he's going out with the Magna Lens, Ability Pen, and Mana Regen. On a Richter, yeah, maybe you do need that health, but really as a support, you simply need a Ward, Quenching Scales, Honor the Pure, which Richter can't get, so Barrier of Will. You simply need those 3 items to be a support the most effectively. Circlet of Health as well would be a fantastic card, even fully upgraded, as now Mr. Justified is getting a little bit of revenge here, a little bit of a gank, as they utilize the fact that the orange team has to push up in this mid lane to get to their tier 2, as a well-coordinated gank there for the blue team. Mad Max is going to duke it out under tower. Is he going to get the Judgment of the Heavens off to root the Seraph in place? Unfortunately not, as he has no mana. Replay bug here. We don't know how low the Seraph actually is, but after enough chasing, it should be time to recall. Even a good Decker Stasis Bomb is not going to do it. We have Sinrez here going for a Fountain Spike with power and mana. Not something you definitely need on Wukong. Mana, he does not have mana issues. So really for Wukong, it is simply going to be power and attack speed here in this early game. That is all that you need. Power and attack speed, baby, all day long, with some Whirling Wands. Really synergizes well with his kit, even if having a ton of attack speed isn't necessarily overly efficient. It definitely makes him a ton easier to play. So it is a consideration here for if you are building Wukong, as he can really use that damage a ton. Both teams are not necessarily grouping up and paying attention to what's happening on the rest of the map, as people are getting 1v1 all over the place here, as J-Dog Bounty Hunter let the Decker get picked apart by the Wukong, and now she has to retreat herself. Looks like the Gideon here in the mid lane was taken down again by Mr. Justified, but Rod Arms here wins that 1v1 duel with the Richter. He really should be with his carry here. That would be a 1 dead Decker and 1 dead Seraph here, gone much quicker. And of course, for the blue team in kind, they need to be rotating as well, and coordinating for that defense. That Seraph could have definitely used this Countess and Chimera's help, as I'm starting to get a little bit disoriented myself with what is going on, because everything is just all over the place. But finally here, the blue team does coordinate a bit here, as a 2v2 looks like it's going their way here in their safe lane. The Kwong here maybe needs to come over and help, as the Crunch is going to continue on the fight here against the Countess with red buff. Doesn't have much mana, so he can absolutely keep on engaging, as the Kwong is coming over, but again, he has low mana himself, so everybody just needs to sit back, regroup, re-coordinate, take care of the jungle that is actually all completely full here for the orange team. So really, it's all about those. It's all about managing your jungle camps, managing the river buffs, and making sure that you can coordinate those to synergize somewhat. So taking care of your jungle camps, doing it in a fashion so that what you can easily drop by here, grab a river buff once you are done, and then head off and help gank lanes, help support your laners after you've taken care of the jungle camps and gone to river camps. So if you can, it is definitely possible to kind of coordinate that and make that happen. So here's the Countess here, gonna harass the Gideon. I would get some poke off for sure, as full mana with a red buff, get some poke off, force him to retreat, and then re-engage once your abilities are off cooldown, and that should be it. One toasty Gideon. Of course, saving that shadow slip to when he uses teleport would definitely be a smart idea. So 7th Gateway definitely missing out on a good opportunity there to take out Fab quite easily, even under tower. She probably has enough damage, or she should be able to. 21 CP. So yeah, so some power here on the Sorcerer's Ward, some Staff of the Adamant, not bad, absolutely not bad for that power, and another Staff of the Adamant. So at this point, you can definitely use that power on Countess to last hit minions much more easily, and get that sustain there. So she is going to win the 1v1. I was going to say, oh, you really don't want to 1v1 a crunch as a Countess for too long. Yes, if you can burst him down, that's going to be great, but oh boy, if you can't, I'm not going to be the one to want to do that. Mad Max Canadian, but again, holding off this tier 1 tower by the 21-minute mark. My goodness, man. Well done. With a nice amount of health regen here from the 2 healer tokens and a whirling wand. Ain't bad at all. That is a, holy cow, that's a ton of attack speed. Definitely don't need necessarily that much this early in the game, but yeah, so wards. We only have one person here with a ward here on the crunch, and on this part, there is a ward here for the Decker, and that's about it. So wards, ladies and gentlemen. Wards save lives. Wards is vision. Vision is intelligence, and intelligence means smart plays. Smart plays obviously means a good game, and wards are everything. So everybody should have a ward. Absolutely everybody, no matter what your role, who you're playing, what you're playing, you should have a ward at all times. Pretty much by your second card. That should definitely be there. So Duster is getting hit from behind. Not even sure if he realizes the sneaky Decker move here, as the orange team getting picked apart and unable to take care of their mid lane and safe lane at the same time. PG boy coming over here a little bit too late to help the tower. He's not even going to try here for the Wukong that he knows he pretty much can't get. That he pretty much can't get. So what is this card here? Touch of Thieves already. Lifesteal and health. Simply, nah. Gonna go for some more health here on the Guardian's Ward would be definitely much better, as a lifesteal crunch simply doesn't do enough damage of either types in order to warrant nanoplasm or lifesteal. I have done the math for him. I haven't published it or anything, but I did find out and through some simple testing that he simply doesn't do enough of both. He does a lot of damage overall, but not enough of either kind to put into lifesteal or spell steal. So via that nanoplasm, I think I'm saying that passive wrong, but looks like the blue team is doing a great jungle invade as they take out the Kwang, trying to get his own green buff, as looks like the Sarah did steal it. So Fab here needed to have noticed that, rotated in and helped the Kwang, as Duster here again is overextended and not paying attention to the minimap. Little bit of thing here that people need to take into account is the minimap. You almost need to be looking at, well, you definitely actually, you need to 100% need to be looking at your minimap more than the actual game itself to believe it or not. You want to be watching your minimap more than the actual game itself. The only time you want to be really watching your game is for last hits and for active team fights and duels and little skirmishes. That's really the only time when you want to. Fab here is going to emergency ult, but unfortunately the Chimera does have his ult to cancel that, and that is why as a Gideon you always want to save that teleport or a teleblink or a stab blink or Blink Charm for that ultimate. So he gets easily taken out here from the good coordination between the Chimera and Countess. Good pressure here in this mid lane. Wukong doing Wukong things, taking down a tier 2 with the Kwang here, not maybe noticing that, looking ahead, preemptively anticipating what the enemy is going to do via the information provided on the minimap, and rotating there right off the bat to save that tower. So minimap awareness is absolutely huge. Again, you need to be watching that way more than you need to be watching the actual game itself. I know that might sound weird, but on a regular MOBA, that's really what you're doing. You're constantly watching that minimap to see where people are. If enemy heroes show up on the minimap and just kind of blip on by, you really need to be paying attention, as it is super important. We have this Wukong here going into a... Oh, it's not an Oasis Sylphin, but it's an offensive maneuvers. Okay, so when hit by a basic attack, restore 10 health. I've always thought that offensive maneuvers is you know, going to be for a very fast attacking minigun sort of hero that will eventually release. Again, I have no idea if something like that's even coming, so please don't assume that that it is going to be. But really, I can only see this being used as a wonderful card in the early game or an offlaner, but otherwise it's pretty much useless. Fantastic Decker fence here, solidifies the kill on a crunch, and unfortunately just too much poke here for this Wukong in this mid lane. Fantastic Decker stun to take 2 of them out, and yeah, Mad Max Canadian again is left here to defend a tower. Blue team coordination to push into this mid lane, as they needed to stay here and get this tier 1 tower down. They had a 4v2 with 3 of the orange team down. They needed to push this, press that numbers advantage. But again, that is simply just MOBA experience and MOBA strategy that is learnt over time. And just what leads to an advantage, what leads to winning the game, etc., etc. Yeah, and we can take a look at the builds here. Decker going in for Quenching Scales is absolutely wonderful. Circlet of Health, absolutely wonderful. Lord's Word, a little bit of health, perfectly done. Elysian Diamond, I absolutely love this on any order supports, as it does give you a teeny weeny bit of power. Can go a fair way as a mana regen, and that health is wonderful. We could see an Honor the Pure here, to be honest with you. So we could see it, yeah. So we can see an Honor the Pure. Oh, no, we can't. Yeah, so next for UCP, an Honor the Pure would be very strong for that, as that's obviously very meta. Armivore for the Chimera. Great to see that. Fantastic card here. The kinetic on the card, though, could simply be used as to more Madstone gems, a ward, some armor on some bone spike plates or something like that. That could definitely be a little bit more used in that case, but again, that attack speed. Hey, if you're going for a sustained fighter, Chimera definitely does go a long way, as he does have a fairly slow basic attack, actually, to be honest with you. So here is that blue team focusing down. Mr. Justified does not use his ultimate on the Gideon, although the Countess is a little late, but still gets the kill, as the Serath does peace out with a little bit low health. I'm gonna say she maybe could have stayed there and looked at the minimap, knowing the Countess was coming, but they get the tower, get a kill, and they peace out, and definitely it's what they need to do, as their jungle is full. Wukong is pushing in this lane, and that is some good map awareness here, at least from this Chimera's part. It has been doing good jungle rotations so far throughout this map, so well done, Mr. Justified, for doing that. Ganking a Wukong is a bit tricky here, so we'll see if Sinrez does get out of here. The Decker slow bubble. Oh, there it is. Yep, there is the slow into the basic. Even though tier 1s are getting taken out here for the blue team, so you need to be careful as Duster here is simply focused on pushing this lane. Definitely something here that that Duster can work on. We have Bubble Tap coming out as well. Richter, he is pretty damn squishy, really not gonna lie. Bubble Tap is an interesting idea, but as a fighter, as a tank, he doesn't get much mana. So Bubble Tap simply not going to be useful for tanks, simply basically left for casters. Somebody like a Narbash, if he could use it, that would be awesome, but unfortunately he can't. So really, as a support, you need to be using something like this deck here, which is definitely looking pretty darn good. For this Gideon, Adamant Edge, absolutely very, very meta, so great to see that. Again, no ward though, which is absolutely key on anybody, especially the mid laner. Countess coming in, doing Countess things again, trying to come after this crunch. Knows that he's going to get away and simply turns on this Wukong. Yeah, no, Kwong, and takes him out. Goes in on the crunch. Doesn't have an ability off cooldown, just barely, and the crunch can get away here. Fab not paying attention to his minimap and needs to be helping out his teammates. They're getting taken off as he returns to lane. Same goes for Duster here, as he's just focused here on pushing lanes. Again, I do want to I do want to mention I do this out of complete respect for these players and for the efforts that they are putting. I am only making these suggestions and tips in respect and out of a helping nature for them. I don't mean to be disrespectful whatsoever for these players. I simply just mean it in a helpful fashion here. The Gideon, again, emergency ulting on the ground with a whole bunch of melee heroes on this team. Absolutely need to use that teleport to get up into the air, as your ultimate will still do damage. The damage is applied in a cylinder on the ground and into the air, while that pole is actually a sphere. I do believe, I did see that very, very interesting Reddit post where they kind of did the experiments, kind of showed how the effect varies depending on how high you are from the slow, but the damage didn't seem to change how high you were. So very, very interesting. Just need to know that. Use the teleport to get into the air when you are using your ultimate. Here the crunch jungling instead of protecting the tier 2 tower. Not necessarily terribly bad, as the, well, tier 2 tower is already gone, but still absolutely need to be defending the tower instead. Mad Max Canadian diving into a 1v3 by himself, maybe trying to secure a kill there with his burst, but no, decides to back off. Definitely the smart move. Regroup with the teammates here, and maybe trying to defend the jungle. Fiji Boy coming in from behind, fantastically done, but the Deckerstein kind of stops that in its tracks, as they need to put some wards down here and take back their jungle. Here is the Countess burst coming in. The Kwong tries to root the Countess, I'm assuming, to try to help that, but no, he has to leave Fiji Boy to the fate, as Fab here doesn't help the rest of his team. So they need to reclaim that this territory in their jungle, and there's a surrender. So 33 minutes surrender here for the orange team. I'm going to assume as yeah. So the blue team here 25-9. Very strong dominant display here by the blue team. So the Richter and the Wukong DC here as beginning players here, it can be a very overwhelming experience, as Paragon, very very complicated. So Chimera and this Countess here doing a fantastic job here. You definitely see that they obviously have a MOBA experience. Countess doing a great job. Chimera, good rotation. Serath, good farming here, 117 farm and 42 CP, so well done indeed. We talked about most of the builds here. The Countess going into Shadow Scroll with too much ability pen. Ability pen is only starts to being better than power after about 160-ish power, so make sure to go into power when you have a ton of power, then you can put in that ability pen. Chronomancer disc on a Countess is pretty darn terrifying, but that is assuming that you can get at least 2 rounds of abilities off. Otherwise, if you can't, that cooldown reduction is kind of a moot point here. Wukong into the basic pen, that's going to hurt a ton here, and with a little bit of health, yeah, that's going to go a long way on a squishy carry, even though that may not be totally pertinent to their role. Looks like pretty good deck here from the Serath. No, so the Silvery Spirit, not necessarily overly relevant, as Wind Carved Blades would be absolutely monstrous here on Serath, with Sword of the Altar only necessary once after you reach about 40% crit chance. So just keep that in mind. Fantastic deck here by Girth Vader here on the Decker. So really, that's about it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below about this series. How did these players do? What could they improve on? Anything you noticed? Any tips for any new player out there? Because I really, really wish that people can learn from this and improve their play. If you are in silver or even bronze, please leave an ID down below of a relatively short game, about 35 minutes long, of a good match that you think people could learn from, that featured some good things and some bad things and some things people can improve on. Leave that ID down in the video description. You can find that by going over here to your watch tab, into your personal tab, and then simply clicking on the replay, and there is the replay ID. You can also find it on agora.gg. Simply type that into your browser, search up your profile, and you will have all of your recent games there. Simply copy that replay ID, put it in the comments section below, and maybe you can be featured here in the series. Thank you guys for watching. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. You guys like this content, especially if you found it useful. Please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. If you would like to support me on a regular basis, please head on over to my Patreon account where you can make a pledge to help me do what I love. Till next time, like always, guys, stay optimistic and positive.